For all of 2026 so far, I have been on a self-imposed book buying ban. It ended on my birthday in mid-April, and on my birthday, I took the day off of work, I had a self-care day, and I went to 3 different bookstores and bought these 8 books. So I'm going to walk you through them now and how much I paid. I think I got a good amount of books for the total price I paid. Let's get into it. My overall plan for the book buying day was to go to my 3 favorite types of bookstores. First, I went to an independent bookstore, then a used bookstore, and then Barnes& and Noble. I put Barnes& and Noble last mainly because any books that I was definitely wanted to get, if I couldn't find them at the independent bookstore or the used bookstore, then I was pretty sure that Barnes& and Noble would have it. So, starting with the independent bookstore, I went to Mermaid Books in Milford, Connecticut. Milford is a coastal town in Connecticut, and it has this really adorable downtown area with shops and restaurants, and Mermaid Books is relatively new to the area, and it is so charming and adorable and aesthetic, very cute. Has a lot of other merchandise other than books as well. It's well curated and had a lot of different new releases right on the front table. They also have different events. It's just an adorable bookstore. My first book that I definitely knew I wanted was Shield of Sparrows. I have listened to the audiobook. I listened to the audiobook a couple weeks ago. Absolutely loved it. It was an immersive audiobook, but it was only part 1 of 2. My library did not have the second part, and they didn't have a physical copy either for rent. So I knew I needed to buy that. I finished the first half of the audiobook a week or 2 ago, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to know what happens. So that was the first book I was looking for. I needed to get that. Everything else was kind of up in the air. I had a list of things. The most exciting thing is my husband got me a $50 gift card to Mermaid Books for my birthday. So I wanted to spend it for sure. I knew I'd be able to find $50 worth of books. So that was my plan. I did end up getting Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. I think this cover is so beautiful and kind of whimsical. And so I knew that I wanted to read this book. And at my public library, it was like a 30-person wait. So I decided to pick it up for $30 retail price. If you haven't heard what this book is about, a quick synopsis is that it follows a woman who is essentially an influencer under the trad wife movement. And then she finds herself thrust into the year, I forget, the 1800s. I don't think it lists. Oh, 1855. She finds herself in that year and experiencing the traditional wife experience during those years. I don't want to read the synopsis too much because I don't really want to know much else about the conflict. I was talking to the bookseller as well, and she had really wanted to read the book as well. So, Yesteryear, I paid, well, it retails for $30, but I paid $0 because of my husband's gift card. And technically, our finances are combined, so it's kind of like I paid for it, but not really. Then I was kind of hemming and hawing. I wanted to spend my gift card because I also didn't want to, it was a paper gift card, and I just didn't want to deal with having leftover. So I was looking for Shield of Sparrows, but they didn't have it. So I was thinking, okay, what paperback do I want to read next? I did want to try to find a book that I hadn't heard of before, but nothing was really resonating to me. So what I did instead is I picked up a book I know I will for sure get to, which is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book of the ACOTAR series. I recently read the first book and I enjoyed it. It was actually my third attempt reading ACOTAR. I don't know, I just couldn't get in it in the first 2 tries. So I tried it for a third time when they announced that the series would be continuing. And I'm a girly who wants to be part of a hype. Like, I loved being a Twilight girly when I was younger, and I just love the hype. I want to be a hype girl. So I really wanted to like ACOTAR. And I did end up really liking it by the end of the first book. And I hear that the second book is amazing. I'm very excited to get into this. I don't own the first book, I rented it from the library. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to buy for the physical second copy, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go paperback or hardcover because the new ones are coming out in hardcover. But I figured for the second book, I'll try reading it in paperback and see how I feel. And then I don't mind having a mismatched series of paperback and hardcover. I like a bookshelf that's just looks well loved and kind of disorganized. So this was what I bought for $20. So at the independent bookstore, I spent my $50 gift card, and for me, it was $0. I forgot to mention that at Mermaid Books, they have a little vending machine where you put the quarters in and you push it and pull it, and there's a little print. It's a little print machine. This is Richard Scarry. It's done by a local artist, and apparently this is like a big deal. Like people come from all over. There's like a 10 stamp limit or something like that. Like it's a big thing. But for $1, it's a cute little cardboard print. I'm using it as a bookmark. Next, I went to the used bookstore. I had never been to it before. It's called Penny's Bookshelf, also in Milford, Connecticut. It's right down the street from Mermaid Books. So if you live in the area and want to have a little fun book day, it's very cute. I did not know what to expect. When I walked in, first thing I saw was that it's cash only. Thankfully, I had $100 bill, which is crazy because I've just been hanging onto it for so long, and she accepted it, so that's fine. But I was looking for a few different books from a used bookstore. I love buying books that I have already read and want to have on my shelf to potentially reread. I love buying those from used bookstores, also from authors that have an extensive catalog that maybe I just know I like the author. For example, like Kristen Hanna. They had some Kristen Hanna there, but I didn't pick any up because I didn't think I was going to read them anytime super soon. I have The Women on my bookshelf right now that I still need to read that I purchased used. So those are the kind of books I like to buy used. So I was thinking of getting Bridgerton books if they had them because I read the first one and I want to read the whole series. I'm liking historical romance lately. I'm not really liking contemporary romance. I also was thinking of checking out the sci-fi section and also the Ellen Hildebrand section because I'm going on a trip to Cape Cod this summer as my family's summer vacation. So I thought it would be cute to get another Ellen Hildebrand book to read there. I have two of her other ones on my TBR shelf right now. But I did find the Ellen Hildebrand section. It was quite extensive. I picked up the Hotel Nantucket, which is a very worn in paperback copy. So I might bring this on my trip this summer. And I love the fact that it's already worn in. Someone else probably read this on their vacation. The way they price the books at this used bookstore is that it's half of the list price. So this one was $19, which means that I paid $9.50 for this, which is kind of a lot, but I really love supporting local businesses. I'm not gonna hem and haw over a couple bucks. For me, if I'm pretty sure I'm going to read this book, I want to get it. And you can also bring the books back and consign them back to the bookstore. I don't know how much she buys them back for. I also did have success finding the Bridgerton book. So I have the first one in the movie cover. So I picked up the second one, The Viscount Who Loved Me, and the third one, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is Penelope and Colin's story. And typically, I do not buy multiple books of a series. I buy them one at a time. Like with ACOTAR, I'm only going to buy them one at a time because I want to make sure I want to keep going on in the series. But I made an exception for Bridgerton. A, because it was a used bookstore, and B, so many of these books are kind of similar and they're good palate cleansers, and I know I will eventually read them. So the list price was $17, so that means I got two of them for $17. The last book I got at the used bookstore was felt like fate to me because this is a book that I haven't heard anybody talk about, but I added it to my TBR on Goodreads simply because I saw a friend I know in real life. I saw that she rated it 5 stars. So anytime she rates a book 5 stars, I definitely have it on my radar. And I was just walking around this very overwhelming but well organized used bookstore, and I saw this on the top of a pile, just like on the ground. It was just sitting right on top. I thought it would be basically fate and that I should pick it up. And it retails for $16, so I got it for $8. It is The Last Green Valley by Mark Sullivan. He wrote the book Beneath a Scarlet Sky, which I have not read because I've heard it's so sad. This one is apparently also so sad. But sometimes I'm in the mood for a sad book. Recently, I read Wally Lamb's The River is Waiting, which was spectacular, 5 stars, but I also kind of hated every second of it because it was so sad. I sometimes am just in the mood for a sad book. So I'm very excited to have this on my shelf, ready and waiting for me to read. Lastly, I went to Barnes& Noble, and I actually had a pre-order that came in on my birthday. Barnes& Noble a few weeks ago was having a sale on pre-order hardcovers, and I got one. But this wasn't really breaking my buying ban because A, it would be delivered on my birthday, and B, I used between the sale and a gift card I had and some of the rewards dollars that I had from Barnes and Noble, I spent $0 on this book. This is a new release, and the line at my library was going to be again like 20 something people, and I knew I wanted to read it before then. And it is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This book I have heard wonderful things about. It is kind of like a mixed media book, which I've never read before. It's mostly letters, emails, and other correspondence through the lens of this woman. And I really loved this copy. It is a hardcover that doesn't have a sleeve, it's just printed right on the hardcover, and it is beautiful. It retails for $35, but again, with all the sale and promotion and my coupons, I spent $0. I like to go into books relatively blind, so I don't know much about this book other than it's historical fiction. My friend loves historical fiction, so the fact that she rated this 5 stars, I know I'm going to like. And the first sentence says, in late March 1944, as Stalin's forces push into Ukraine, young Emil and Adeline Martel must make a terrible decision. Do they wait for the Soviet bear's intrusion and risk being sent to Siberia, or do they reluctantly follow the wolves, murderous Nazi officers who have pledged to protect quote unquote pure blood Germans? Sold. Now you may be noticing, wait, didn't she say there was only one book that she desperately wanted for her birthday? And yeah, Shield of Sparrows, I struggled to find it. It was not at the independent bookstore, nor was the second book. I wonder if it's so popular that they just can't keep it in stock. And so I eventually went to Barnes and Noble at the last stop, and I didn't want anything else other than this book. So I picked it up. I think the cover is just spectacular. I am not a fantasy person. I read Fourth Wing and enjoyed it. Um, and I read the first ACOTAR book and enjoyed it. Shield of Sparrows is just hitting for me. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it's a good balance of different themes that I like. There's romance, there's found family. It's pretty easy to follow the geography that they're describing. It just clicks in my brain as someone who doesn't typically read a lot of fantasy. And I love that the second book just came out, so I can immediately pick that up if I want to. And I think they just announced the third book for 2027. This book retails for $33, probably because it's so beautiful. And I paid about $21. I am a Barnes& and Noble member, so I get 10% off. Plus, I had some reward points, and I used my $5 gift card. So I spent $21 on this book happily. I am so excited about this. So these are the 8 books that I purchased on my birthday. The total value of these books was $191, but I personally spent only $57.50. That is thanks to A, buying used, B, my husband's gift card to me for my birthday, and buying things when they are on sale using Barnes& and Noble credit and my Barnes& and Noble $5 birthday reward. Overall, I think that's an amazing value for all of these books. It's basically a 70% savings by using all those different strategies. I am very happy with the books that I got for only $57.50, especially because I will be reading all of these books sometime in 2026. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think of them, especially Yesteryear. I'm really curious what people think about that. I've heard mixed reviews. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.